The Central Coast versus Los Angeles. California is known for the sunny beaches, sunscreen, and all the things. And then Los Angeles is fast paced. So, do you want the laid back lifestyle or the fast paced busyness of Los Angeles? Well, we're going to unpack it and we're going to get to it right now. All right, so people get torn trying to figure out where they want to land in California, and especially between Los Angeles and the Central Coast, California. So we're going to break it down, go over some things that you should digest as you're researching the area and figure out which location will fit your lifestyle. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the traffic, the difference in traffic from the Central Coast to Los Angeles. So the first thing is on the Central Coast, we have our infrastructure of traffic being Highway 101 and a few of the interstates 41, 46, and the infamous Pacific Coast Highway 1, which we've talked about in many of the videos. Los Angeles is going to have some heavy intertwined multiple freeways, multiple interstates that you are going to deal with on the daily. So that is one thing that is a huge difference in our infrastructure for the traffic. The second thing you're going to need to know between the traffic in Los Angeles and on the Central Coast is that on the Central Coast, you're going to drive through traffic. You're not going to sit in traffic. So that's a big difference in your daily commutes. Here on the Central Coast, you might be on a commute which averages about 20 to 30 minutes, unless you're going over to the grade, which is North County. You're going to hit Paso Robles, Atascadero, all those things, and you're going to take the grade and get to those locations. The point is that you're going to be flowing, you're going to be moving. You're not going to be sitting in traffic and trying to get 20 miles, which will take you an hour and a half in the LA traffic. It's a known fact. I'm not giving you any information that isn't true. It's not to my benefit. I just really want to make you aware of certain things, between the differences between the Central Coast and Los Angeles. Another thing to factor in with our traffic situation is that in LA, you're probably going to experience a little bit more road rage and honking and some yelling, some angry people, because you're sitting in that traffic and things are just going to be out of your control. That's in all cases, but in the Central Coast, you aren't going to really experience that too much. It's a flowing traffic. There are some people that zoom in and out, but it's just not a very prevalent thing to experience in our area, is to have that type of daily traffic situation here on the Central Coast. Okay, and the last difference in our traffic from LA to the Central Coast is just really the landscape you're going to be in on the daily. So you can see our landscape here on the Central Coast is pretty much hills, valleys, ocean, and things of that nature, trees. In Los Angeles, it's going to be a little bit more of the architectural, high-rise skyscrapers, a little bit more of a freeway, concrete walls on the side of you as you're making your way through the city. It's just a different daily landscape of view that you're going to be having as you're getting to and from your locations on the different areas. So that's just a factor for you to evaluate and see how that, factors in for you and your daily commutes. As a matter of fact, you better realize that on the Central Coast, it's way of a slower pace that might not fit your lifestyle, that you can get behind a tractor here. It is a well-known thing because we have a lot of agricultural land here, and you might get behind a tractor, you might get behind a bigger semi just because we have the traffic coming through here from the Pacific Highway 1. But you might just be at a much slower pace than you're used to. So that's something to take note of, again, as a difference between LA and the Central Coast. All right, so a huge thing to weigh out is the vibe. The vibe is very different from the Central Coast, California, to Los Angeles, California. So in the Central Coast, it's a very laid back, it exudes peace and tranquility. And Los Angeles, people are on the go. It's busy, you're going, you're getting to the next place. There's just a lot more going on the daily. All right, and so again, just our terrain, the Central Coast is more of picturesque, rolling hills, amazing coastlines, picturesque vineyards. And then in LA, you're going to be more glitz and glamour, more high-rise buildings, everything more of a modern architectural design throughout your commutes, throughout your daily experiences through town. So, it's a different vibe in that aspect. And that leads us that with our serene, tranquil, peaceful, laid back lifestyle here, our vibe, so LA is more of a, higher paced celebrity life, vibe over there. However, LA is a melting pot of diversity. There's a lot more culture over there than we see here on the Central Coast. I mean, LA is where there's just a lot of different cultures, a lot of diversity living in the city from all over the world. It's kind of like a little New York. It's where it happens. That's where the things are happening, where you're going to get the latest and greatest information, fashion, everything that's going on. I mean, that's where, celebrities are. So very, very different from the Central Coast and our little bit of ag, laid back lifestyle vibe over here. So, the Central Coast vibe's a little bit rustic, laid back, a lot of ag land, very chill, and there's always something going on in LA. It's always really busy. There's always somewhere to go to. People got things to do, places to see, people to meet. So it's just so very different in that aspect as well. All right, and as we know, the Central Coast facilitates all the outdoorsy people that love that outdoor lifestyle. It's not that you can't do that in LA. It's just it's very accessible. In LA, you kind of have to get to everything. It takes an effort unless you're actually residing in a location that has the outdoor capabilities available to at your fingertips. On the Central Coast, it's just readily available, and we're just more of that outdoorsy lifestyle and vibe, where LA is more of an urban, high skyscraper landscape or framework of the city. And again, always something to do, always somewhere to go. A lot of skyscrapers, freeways, and modern architecture. Very, very different vibes, but both can really give you a great lifestyle. All right, the next thing we're going to break down is the housing, the differences in what you can find in the housing department, LA versus the Central Coast. So overall, while both the Central Coast and LA have a range of housing options, our Central Coast tends to be more suburban, affluent, and traditional in style, while LA has a mix of urban and suburban options and more modern architectural and a wide range of housing types. Differences you're going to see on the Central Coast is you're going to have homes with ocean views, hilltops, more of a traditional single-family homes, where in LA you're going to have more high-density, sky-rise townhomes, apartment, and then obviously in some of the hills in Los Angeles, where it's prime real estate, you're going to have homes tucked in, in very prime locations throughout the city of Los Angeles. And on the Central Coast, you have beach cottages, you have, high-end real estate too, and you have the college scene. So that's all in a very small area. LA is just so much bigger and so much scattered out. So there's different types of housing available. So there's more choices in LA than you'll probably see on the Central Coast. Although on the Central Coast, we have new builds coming up. LA has a lot of newer builds too, and we're more traditional in our area here with the housing here on the Central Coast. All right, so I just want to remind you, my name is Vernice, and I am a local real estate broker here on the Central Coast. I grew up here, raised my kids here, and I am still here. So I'm doing these videos to help you figure out where you want to land here on the Central Coast and discovering California in general. And so we talk about real estate, lifestyle, and everything in between. You can text, email, call us anytime, day, evening, weekends, it doesn't matter. We have your back when you're moving to the Central Coast. So you can definitely give us a like. That helps other people just like you find this information. Leave us a comment. It really helps us out, figure out what we want to make videos for, what information you need. We love hearing from you. And then subscribe so you don't miss any of our future videos. We are gearing up and bringing you as much information as we can to help you out. All right, so the last thing I have to tell you is we got to compare the Central Coast and LA, the quality of life. Okay, so this is a big one. I feel like this is where you're really determining like no other what your lifestyle is and what your quality of life, the definition, means for you, you know. So LA, again, high paced, the latest, the greatest, you know, very into what's out there today in the world. It's like, I feel like it's a little New York because things happen in LA. It's, you know, very movie centric, you know, celebrity focused. And, you know, if you're into acting, movies, music, you know, the latest technology, you know, museums, all the things, diversity, that is the place for you. And Central Coast is a little bit more laid back, relaxed. We're really just trying to enjoy the daily life, just enjoying the beaches, the outdoor lifestyle. We're not rushing around. You know, it's very chillaxed here, very easy peasy to get around to places. We're not of a mindset to really have the latest and greatest. We're not bougie very much. There are some areas that are. The quality of life is mostly like your mental psyche, you know, you're breathing in fresh air every day, being able to go outside and get, you know, your vitamin D, your sunshine. You know, there's not a lot of pollution because we don't have, you know, high pollutant companies here. Manufacturing is not a big thing for us here. So we are more of a smaller community feel here on the Central Coast. And in LA, I think you just have a lot of different pockets of communities that you can belong to. That can be small, that can be big, you know, so it's just a whole different vibe down there. There's a lot more going on. Again, down here on the Central Coast, you're going to find a lot of fresh fruits and produce, due to our ag, our land here. And in LA, it's not that you can't find it. Again, it's just going to take a little bit longer to get to those things. I don't think you see a lot of farmers markets in Los Angeles. I could be wrong, but I think they do have good produce there too. And they're going to have a lot more diverse stores. You know, I have people moving from out of the area here that are looking for, you know, a great Asian market or a great Greek place, or, you know, do we have specific, you know, types of markets for different cultures? And I could say we probably don't, you know, not like the San Francisco area or the Los Angeles. You're going to have more of that diversity at your fingertips for sure. So again, if you want more of that high-end fashion, glamorous lifestyle, everything of what's the latest and greatest, LA is going to be the place for you. If you want more of a laid-back, relaxed lifestyle with beaches and outdoor activities available to you pretty much yearly, and you want that in your life, then the Central Coast is probably for you. All right, friends, so the only way that we can help you find that sweet spot here on the Central Coast is you've got to reach out. You got to give us a call, text, email, day, evening, weekends. It does not matter, because we have your back when you're moving to the Central Coast. So until the next video, we'll catch you later.